Okay, good afternoon, guys. Hope everyone's well. Tis the 29th, last day of February. It's hard to believe we're in March already tomorrow. The start of this year has gone so quick, it really doesn't seem 5 minutes. I probably say this every day, but it just seems to have gone so quick. It doesn't seem 5 minutes since Christmas. So, okay, let's have a look. Chris, how you doing, my friend? Kanan, good night. Are you going or starting? So, let's have a look. Okay, so we have had some, I guess that's news. Yes, it is. We've had a good strong push-up and a little channel. So, be interested to see whether we hold and continue on up. Exponential. Good day to you, my friend. Jay, how you doing? So, are we going to hold and continue up? God only knows. In India, it's 8 a.m., 8 p.m. That's not too bad, is it? Middle of the day. Yeah, I suppose it's evening, isn't it? I don't know. It's some people, I tend to think I've probably got the best hours, I think. And obviously, a lot of you US guys, I suppose 9:30 for some of you and 3 hours early in that for others. Austin, Texas, I'm going ex-barbecue, are you? Excellent. Yeah, I do like barbecue stuff. We don't have a massive amount in the UK because it tends to piss down a lot here. Unless you like standing out in the rain. I bought myself one of those Weber barbecues the latter part of last year, and I think I used it once. The weather was just naff. But yeah, I suppose in the US you do tend to have a bit better weather, don't you? So officially, I think they say officially the first day of spring tomorrow, I think within the equinox calendar. So at least we're aiming in the right direction. I will be taking a holiday at some point this year for probably a week. I don't know, I think may go to Italy or Spain or something like that, somewhere relatively close. And I'm guessing it'll be around about late July, early August, somewhere around about there. So, okay, there is a higher low there, but we're coming up to these highs. The market is open in about 5 seconds. So let's see whether we do continue on up or whether we start to drop. It's hard to say. Sometimes when we have these starts, we recover, but the way this is holding nice, I wouldn't be surprised if we go a bit higher. It does look like it's attempting to push. So, I don't know what you think of this. I did think then maybe there's two-tiered channel, something like this. But I think it's safe to assume that's a channel. It's a spike and channel to break a new high. And whether it's retesting or we're making something else, I don't know. There is a second entry short there. So we've sort of got a double top there, or a triple top if you like. We've hit 3 times, so whether that's going to come down or not. I mean, we are a bit away from the EMA here, so that certainly could come down, but it's just too early yet to figure out what's going on. It may go a bit sideways, it may come back, it could do a bunch of stuff. In fact, there is a possibility we could even be just creating some range tops. That is possible. It would make sense. Bitcoin doesn't seem to want to stop, does it? Where are we up to now? I think it did hit 64,000, didn't it? Or just under 64,000. Then we got a pullback. I'm hoping soon that we do get a decent pull with 63,000 now. I'm hoping we break all-time highs quick because I want money to start flowing into the old coins because I've got a bunch of them. So yeah, 63,000. When it goes, doesn't it? So in the last 30 days, gone up 47%. Unbelievable. I wish I had that sort of money to pick a few up. So, are we continuing up? It certainly looks like it. Let me see if there's any type of a bigger channel there. I think that's possible. Let me remove that second. So if we go from here, so that would still be a spike and channel. We got a touch there, fitting quite nice there. That looks okay to me. What are we looking like on the NQ? Have we got something similar? It's hard to say really, isn't it? Could be just a couple of legs, but we've got a leg up there, so it's hard to say. So if we've got that spot, if we go from here, we are running along there quite nice, but it is early days yet, so you never quite know. It might just be that and a couple of pushes up and then it starts to come down. So Speedy, how you doing, my friend? How are you? So yeah, it's hard to know what's going on. Well, I was going to say that was news there. I was going to say we got a triple test and didn't it go, but it was the news. Mind you, that wouldn't have been a bad place to buy. I mean, it is a bit rangy, isn't it? But you got a good reaction off there. So there is a higher low here. We're too far from the trend channel and the EMA anyway, so there's no nothing we can do there really. So it's definitely possible that that is a bigger channel. We've had a few touches here, a couple of touches there, a touch there, and it's fitting quite nice. It's slowing down a bit here. It's just looking a bit congested here. There may be some longs there. There is a second entry long there and a higher low. It's a doji. Okay, it's all right. It's starting to look a bit congested here, so I was wondering whether we were going to get a leg and a leg, but we're just continuing up. Okay, let me have a look at this. Okay, so this is the daily. So we've got to move up here, a couple legs back with a break and a new high. We've come back and we've retested the sort of bit of support there and possibly the top of that. So we may get another strong push up. It's always possible. I'm not sure I like this. Well, maybe. It does look like a two-tier channel. We're working in that top tier. We come back. So far, we're working in here. Be nice to come back. Maybe we're going to get a leg and a leg. I don't know. I don't like this, the way it's sort of finding a little bit of support there, or resistance rather. So is that going to push up? Maybe. I'm not so sure. My channel is a little flatter. Where have you gone from? Oh, okay, I get what you're doing. You've gone something like that, haven't you? Yeah, I think that looks a bit better actually. The only slight problem with that is, let me have a look. Maybe I just don't like this big gap here. It's hard to say. So if I add it there, we'd be touching the. That's the problem. Let me just put it back a sec. So, I did it there, didn't I? So, break new high. It's hard to say. I don't like either of them, to be honest with you. It could be some... Oh, God, it's a tricky one, this. Sometimes channels are really easy, and other times... the only slight issue I have is, mind you... So we had a break there, but maybe we got the same there. Maybe it is. Alright, let's give that a go. Yeah, it's just this bit I don't like, but yeah, there's no reason why we couldn't. So, leg and a leg. Let's see, could just be a big range. Yeah, it is. Sometimes it's just a bit hard, isn't it? And I think if you're not sure, there is 2 legs back here. Let's see what happens here. Trouble is, if you've got that wrong, you don't know whether we've had a break. Mind you, if we've had a break, you would probably continue on up. I tend to forget this now, to be honest with you, and wait and take the higher low. If I'm not sure, I think the higher low is a safer bet. I mean, if that channel is right, which it quite possibly will be, it's reacted well from there. So, would I be daft not to take that? I think I would be.
Order submitted.
Let's have a look. See how it finishes. I'm not sure about that. It's quite a big risk. Yeah, I'd rather wait and see what happens. If I've got anything wrong, we could have a leg, a break, and a leg. I mean, it's a good reaction off there, so I think there's, you know, there's a reasonable chance, but under the circumstances,
Order
for
cancelled.
me personally, I'd like to wait for a higher low. I mean, it looks right based on the channel we've got there, but if this is slightly different... See, we've got very similar on the NQ, and we've had a break on the NQ 2 legs back. So I'm just not sure about this. The trouble is, we could be creating some range tops, in which case we could come down a bit further. So it's triggered that. And it's not coming down as strong as much as I thought. I think, well, there's obviously some buyers there because they pushed that bar up like that, but just at the moment, I'd rather sit tight and see what happens here. I don't like this. We've had a couple of legs back. If we can trigger that bearish bar there, which we haven't yet, or have we? No. If we can trigger that bearish bar and then start to push up, then I may get in on the limit order. Right, there's a failed second entry long. Let's see if this triggers. If this triggers... and it starts to push up, that might be a better option, a safer option, because at the moment it's congested on the NQ, so we could just have a quick drop. It's starting to look like it may do. So that for me is possibly a mistake. Let me have a look. It could do anything. Okay, so it's stalling a bit there, so maybe it isn't, but it's still an unsafe trade, so we've got a channel with a little break there. Trouble is, I'm not confident I know what this channel's doing. If we can get a higher low here, then that may interest me getting on here, because there is possibly a higher low here. My slight issue is that failure is triggered. I'm not liking this. We've got a channel down. We've got a 1 push up, 2 pushes up. This could come down. So for that reason, I'm just sitting tight at the moment. It is congested. EMA's flat. It could do either or, really, this. So if I was just trading this, I may get in there. It doesn't look too bad on here, but at the moment, I don't like what I'm seeing on here. We've had a leg down and a bit of sideways, so it could come down. Oh, wow, okay. That's pushed up. So maybe there is... How far did that go? So if you, well, you wouldn't have got in there anyway. It moved over there that bloody quick. What's it gone up? So you got a 1.25. Well, if you put a limit order, but if you put a limit order above it or a market, you might have done. But it moved that quick. It was literally up and down. So it's a bit congested here. So I'm just not sure what I'm seeing here at the moment. But that was a quick flick. News in about 5. Yeah, it's medium impact news. It doesn't usually cause a problem. So if you'd have taken that one, if you'd have put it 1 tick above this, you'd have got a 1.25, I think, at a push. It's got a push through, see, isn't it? So you got a 1.25. That to me looks like it may get stopped out. That possibly as well. So there's possibly 2 lots of longs in there. I bet there'll be more in there. If we get below there, I think there'll be a few stops there. It may hold. Sometimes when you get a strong bar with 2 legs, it often does. It may take out any possible weak positions, but I don't know about this. We got a leg down, 1 or 2 attempts, so I think this may just drop. Let's have a look. Did anybody take that, did they? So at the moment you're okay. Hey Rodian, how you doing? I bet there'll be a few who've taken that. I was very tempted myself. 2 nice legs down, it reacted off there, and perhaps it will continue on up. Perhaps you will be safe. You know, as I mentioned, I see it quite a lot. You get a good strong bar, and a lot of the times the stop will stay intact, but I'm not so sure here. This is coming down. Yeah, this just looks a bit bearish to me. Stop. Oh, you're in it, are you? Yeah, I don't know. There's something I don't like about it, and I don't know why. I often get this feeling, and it saves me up. It saves me quite a few times. For one, I'm not sure whether this channel is right. We're working up in a bit of an arc, and it is hard to read. In which case, I'm not confident in taking a trade. So maybe we got something like that. And then maybe just something like that. Channel break, new high. Channel break, new low. So I think I was looking at Marco's charts over the last couple of days, and he does concentrate very much. Now, if you notice my chart yesterday, this area here, I had a bit of a channel going. I think a couple did. Someone said try adjust it. Mac didn't. He concentrated on the smaller stuff. And I looked at Marco's chart a bit as well. And he does the same thing. So I think concentrate. That smaller stuff just looks a bit safer. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of this a minute. It might be right, but I think I'm better off looking at the smaller stuff. So let's go maybe like that. Break. Another push up. So I still think it's likely to continue on up for a bit, but let me have a look. Marco won't mind. Yeah, see, if you look at his chart as well, he had the same as me. Pushing up in a channel. Mac didn't. He just concentrated on smaller stuff. Where's Mac's chart?
Easy about.
Yeah, if we have a quick look at Mac's chart, he didn't have that big picture. He had this bit. That's the bit I was looking at, the bigger channel. He concentrates very much on smaller bits and not so much the bigger channels. So it's probably a safer bet to take it on an individual basis. At the moment, we've got a channel there, break, new high, channel up here, break. So maybe 1, 2, 3. Maybe we're getting a triple test and we're going to push up higher. It's a possibility. I think sometimes if it doesn't look like a channel or we can't find something that looks good enough, I mean, that may be the case, in which case there's a chance we should push higher, but I don't know. It doesn't look too bad now, but I'm not sure. Maybe it is. It doesn't, I can't get it to look right on here. It is a bit choppy. I think that's better. 2 legs back and another leg up. That looks a little bit clearer. They're a bit, obviously a little bit tighter, so sometimes you're better off basing on the smaller stuff. Okay, so are we going to push up? I think it's possible. Oh, Robin exited out for a small loss. Did you get involved here, did you? Yeah, I get why you'd have done it. In fact, if that makes a point, sometimes Mac will still mark it. He may even still mark that as a high or low. But I just don't know. There's something about it I don't like. I do base a lot of my decisions on something that just doesn't look right now. I mean, we clearly got 2 legs down and a nice bullish bar that's reacted. I mean, you can't deny that. That's a good reaction. I was very tempted to take that, but I think the reason I didn't, it was quite a big bar. So I'm actually considering now how much my risk is. So it's tick above, tick below. It's about a 3-point risk. Maybe it's not that massive, but it's just something I don't like about it. I mean, I get why traders may have taken that, but I think if a lot of traders had, it would have pushed down a bit quicker. But it was 2 lovely legs down and a big strong reaction right off that line. I wonder if a few traders have got trapped there. I bet there is a few. It'll be interesting to see on the Facebook group later. So we got 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test. But it could come down. We've got some matching highs here, so this could just be the top of a range. It's certainly possible. We've come down, we've had a break, we've made 1, 2 attempts to go higher. Well, we've made an attempt there, a second attempt and a third attempt, so this could come tumbling down. But it's also sideways, so it could go up, could come down, so there's nothing here for me. 1, 2, 3. You got 6 ticks on it, yeah. Good on you, mate. I think if you hit it right, you'd have got away with it, I think. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, Mac, I do notice Mac marks some trades where, you know, you get like a 1.5 or a 1.25. But I don't go for a 1.25. I'll squeeze a 1.5 if I don't think there's much room. But if I'm only looking at a point, it's just too close for comfort there. There is a triple test there, but it hasn't gone further enough down for me and then turned, and I like that bottom of the bar sat right on there, so it's weak, that, I think. So I'm staying out of there. I'd like that. I like it sat right like that, and a bit more of a tail. But for me, I think that's a tad risky. It may hold because you got something quite bullish here, but regardless of that, anyway, it is choppy and sideways, so it could come down, stop you out, and then off we go up. So Well, I suppose it's always possible to take that on a limit order a bit further back and reduce the risk. It is a triple test, but it's not close enough to that EMA, and I like the tail a bit bigger. We've crossed over, pushed down, and then pushed up. So if we can get above these few stops here, that might go. Yeah, EMA's flat. I mean, it is a triple test. If that stem was a bit, if it was like this, but green there, then I may have a go at that. We are trying to get up. If we can get above this lot, then we should move a bit quicker. There'll be some stops above there, I would suggest. If we can get above there, then I think we'll get close to these highs. Yeah, EMA is going to be a bit flat, really, when it goes sideways. So you'd have got a 0.5 at best there, I think, depending on where you got in. This to me looks like it's looking a bit better. Are you trading any other instrument apart from ATEX like Bitcoin? No, not really. I used to swing trade a little bit of Bitcoin on Bybit, but they stopped us using it. There was a guy I used to follow, and I watched a bunch of his videos and just to learn how to use Bybit. But I used to swing a bit, swing a little. Rephrase that. I used to swing trade Bitcoin just a little bit. I don't know how much. I had about $500 in it. But it was more sort of spot trading, really. I'd buy it when it had a pullback of a 10% or something like that, and I'd just make a bit. But no, this is all I trade, really. I just did that for a bit of fun, just to try and make a bit of money out of me crypto rather than just let it sort of sit there. But this is it. I looked at the reason I originally had the NQ1. Because I thought if we get some sideways horrible stuff here and this is looking clear, I can maybe jump on and trade this chart. The issue I have with this, I've been trading the ES now for a little over 2.5 years, and I'm that used to the point system on here. When you move over, it's flipping confusing. There's so many more ticks. It's not as simple as grabbing your stop and moving it one tick below the signal bar. When you zoom in, you get about 4 or 5 ticks to the one ear, so I found it a bit complicated. But while I was looking at it, I noticed a correlation between the two, and I kind of like that. So I've decided to keep it. But I did look at oil, CL, just as something else, to trade. Should this go a little bit stagnant? There is a higher low there. I would suggest what I'm seeing here. That would probably get above these highs. The trouble is, as much as I think it's probably going to, I don't really want to be going long into that. I mean, we've pushed up. We've got a higher low. I think there's a fair chance this is going to break these highs. And if it does, I sort of bet your pound, I'd say that was going to as well. But it's not enough to get me into a trade. That bar is 11 ticks. Tick above, tick below. It's a 3.25 point risk. I don't want to do a trade like that. If it was a small risk, then I may sort of use me gut feeling and have a go, but it's too much. So I have switched to NQ and I do much. But really, that's interesting. I just found it confusing with the point system because the ticks, it's quite simple, isn't it? I go for a fixed 8 ticks. You got to go. Well, let's hope so. We've had some sketchy days, haven't we? It's been a little bit hard to read. But I've got to say, when I started this, there did seem to be more setups. If I look back, I've saved, I think, every one of my charts since, well, the earliest time, I think. And there did seem a lot more setups. I actually looked back a couple of years ago, looked back recently, going back a couple of years, and some of my position, I thought I'd look back and laugh at some of my trades, but there are some that, you know, I got the read really right, but there obviously was some that I made a complete balls up. There was a bunch that I said I'd never have taken that now, but I was surprised that I did okay, but I can't remember. The trouble is, when you post your charts on the Facebook group, very few people post their losses. I used to, because there was no reason to hide them, but a lot of people don't. So I started feeling a bit inferior then. Is it just me, or am I the only one taking losses? But you'll see the charts on there now, and not everyone puts the losses. I kind of like to know who's losing as well, because I don't want to think I'm the only bloody idiot out here. You know what I mean? So you have a default of 20 ticks. So how does that differ? So Akitri, is that so? 20 ticks the equivalent of maybe 8 ticks on the ES? Is there a way to sort of say 20 ticks is roughly 2 points? Is on the ES? Is there a we all lose? Yeah, part of the game. Yeah, but so many people just don't. JPAL. Yeah, it's only medium impact. It doesn't really seem to do much. Now, whether a lot of this side was because of it, but I always have it on, but I never ever see Mac. Usually, you'll put a bar around this dark blue for the area to stay out with the high impact news, but he never does it with the medium. And for most of the time, it doesn't really do a great deal. So let's see if you can prove me wrong. Yeah, nothing really. I will say there was a little bit of a flutter, so whether that was anything to do with it, I don't know. Yeah, I rarely see medium impact news. I don't pay attention to it, to be fair. I never avoid it, and it's never sort of done me anything. I mean, you would never know there was news there. What I will say there is, look at that bar. It did flutter up and down a little bit, so whether that had any bearing or not, I don't know. We're definitely trying to push up. The trouble is, sometimes the slower it goes up, the quicker it comes down. So we've got a bit of sideways. We've got one leg, maybe a second leg. We need to get above this, really. If we can get above there, then I dare say there'll be some traders after that big push up picking a top. So it's a small risk, that is. So I'll be surprised if we don't push it. But there is a higher low there. That's interesting. So I wouldn't normally mind taking something like that. Unfortunately, we got nothing here. So if that finishes bullish, this is my next target, and I'll be surprised if there's not some shorts in that. It is a small risk. What is it? It's I don't know, maybe 9 points, something like that. Is that small? I don't know, actually. Is it small? I don't know how to work it out on the NQ. I mean, just going by the size of the bar, it's pretty small. So if we do get above that, it may hold, because I bet there will be some stops above there after that big push up. So we have made multiple attempts to push higher there, and we've struggled. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know what? I that's interesting. Well, that is interesting. But mind you, it's done that a few times, hasn't it? I think a lot of why Mac doesn't tell us what his trades are and doesn't show us his trades is because he adapts and adjusts his setups just down to pure experience. But if he's shown us, he would get a million emails saying, "Why did you take that? That's not what you teach us." I mean, when you teach somebody something, you have to have a set format. You don't teach them all the tricks of the trade and stuff like that. That's something that comes with experience. And he'll use his experience and his knowledge to, take trades that might be generally a bit risky from what we're taught, but he's confident. He's seen that pattern a million times, and so that's why I think he doesn't show his trades. There is like a 2 legs back in, a nice bullish bar right off that EMA. Bars like that, usually for me, are where things start to take off. I like the fact that that bearish bar's triggered, so if we can get above that, then we're above that now, so I'll be surprised if we don't smash through there and have a bit of a push. Let's have a look. There's no setup here, unfortunately. I would expect there'll be some stops up here somewhere. Yeah, it's a nice bar to move forward, that is. 2 clear legs back. Nice bullish bar right off that key entry point. I'll be amazed if that doesn't push through there. See, maybe an experienced trader might take a higher low here, trap in some shorts. Mind you, look at that. There was obviously some selling there because it pushed that quickly, but interesting. There is a higher low there. Just too risky, I think, but if we get above there, that'll be the next point, I think. But nah, it's a riskier trade. I think it'll quite likely work. But it could trigger you come down and then have a lower high to go short. So I'm just staying out of this. It's a bit, it's sort of jiggery pokery. It's a little bit trickier, this. I'd say it's a bit more of an advanced type trade. So I tend to watch these and but not stay out of them. Yeah, so yeah. You could see there was some selling the way it dropped. Fail breakout range. Yeah. I think it was $5 a tick. More volatile than the yes, so 50. Profit would be 10 ticks on one contract. Okay, so 10 ticks is the equivalent of 4 ticks, shall we say, in the ES then, profit wise. Okay, so 1 point it would be like 2.5 points on it to get the same sort of profit. Yeah, okay, I got you. Okay, so we've got another higher low there. If we can get above this bar here, then we're very close to that top, and I will be surprised if it doesn't push through. I wouldn't say it's congested. It is working. It's just taking a bit of time. Sometimes when it's congested, you can just drop, but six more ticks on that short. You took that short, did you? Good on you, mate. I can't pick tops and bottoms. I'm shite at them, in all fairness. My concern there was it was going to trigger and push up, because this looks like it's very close to the tops, past 4 evals. No, I can relax. I got to say, evals don't stress me the slightest now. Not in the slightest. They used to. They used to scare the hell out of me, but it just goes to show how you change and adapt. They used to just scare me. Now it's PAs that scare me. No, I'm not too bad with PAs now. Well, I'm better than evals, put it that way. Close to Pat. Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh God, they certainly do, mate. You're not wrong. They certainly do. Okay, so I'm just going to ditch that for a minute and just put a little range there, because to me, that's what it is. Let's have a look. It's working like a range. We got to the top and then dropped. Same here. Now, leg. Are we going to now continue on up? Who knows? And that's a reasonable size push up, isn't it? So, well, not as big as you think. 40 points, a little over 40 points. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. That's probably a better option now, I think. A little channel there with a break new high. Gone into a smaller channel. We haven't made a new high yet, but if these are range tops, we may not. Interesting. So, leg. Now what we're going to do? So we may recover a lot of this. It's certainly possible. There's a bit of congestion here, so we may get a little break here. Hopefully, a couple of legs up. Small double bottom here. Are we going to get a push up now? Come on, give us a break. Come on, up. That's not the type of break we want, really, is it? Yeah. You know, you see this quite a lot, don't you? You know, whatever you want to look, we look like we're slowly grinding up, don't we? And all of a sudden, down it drops. And eats up any stops in the way. It does give you that impression that we're slowly grinding. I'm a little bit more aware to that now. I tend to take out that if we're really struggling to get up. Sometimes I'll just give up the goat and it'll just drop. So I'm a bit more aware of that now. I'm not massively convinced that's a break. No, that's okay, I think. Yeah, touch. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we got a touch there, so we got a touch. That's okay for me. We're still in this at the moment. I just thought it's not much of a break. Perhaps because we haven't really had one yet, but we need one. We're coming up to the midline from the tops to the bottoms. So let's see if we get a push up. Come on, we need a break here. It worries me when we get a bottom like that even if we do get a second entry short, sometimes it doesn't come down far enough. I might just be blowing hot air there, but we'll create a little bit of support there, so you don't know whether we're going to bounce off and we're going to sort of, I don't know. Maybe me just being a bit paranoid. He's lost how much? 24 grand. How the hell did he manage to do that? Wow, I thought that guy was invincible. It just goes to show sometimes, doesn't it? But it doesn't matter how well you seem to be doing. Sometimes you can... wow, that's a chunk of money, that is, isn't it? Well, if you're 24,000, so if you've got 20 accounts, that's over $1,000 on each account. Well, that'll be some interesting to watch later, find out what happened. Okay, so there's a leg. We have bounced off the midline. There is a bit of support there. That concerns me a little bit. It's going to have to look really good, this, or wait for a lower high. I'm just going to get an order ready.
Order submitted.
Sure everything's looking okay. All right, I'm checking now when I go for a trade on the Apex. I've got my Mac on next to me. I'm just checking on the Apex Discord just to check there's no issues. Someone said the data is lagging. We'll see. So a leg and a leg. Let me just check. This doesn't look like more like a channel. It may do. In which case I might have to wait for a lower high. We'll see. My issue I have on here, we've had 3 touches here. There is a little bit of support there, so we could come back a bit, but not come low enough. I'm not sure about this. This is going to have to look like a really good setup for me to take it. Okay, I don't think it looks bad. I'm leaving it at the moment. Personally, something about it I'm not comfortable with. We're in this little channel here, so I'm just not sure. This to me is it hit the bottom 3 times, so I'm just concerned that we have 2 legs up, we trap some shorts and we continue on up. So this isn't just filling me full of confidence just yet. Might be better off for a lower high. I'll have to see what happens here. It hasn't triggered yet anyway, and it is genuinely a second entry short of the key entry point. It's quite a small risk, I suppose, so maybe not terrible. Where's my, what have I got rid of it? Oh no, there it is. It's just, it looks like a channel to me. That's my concern. No, there's just something about this I don't like. It's definitely a second entry short, but that's a little channel there, and the way that's turning up, I'd need to change my underwear. It may hold. It is a second entry short, but I just don't like what it's doing here. We've got a little channel here, see, so I'm not a fan of this. Let's see if this turns into a lower high. Waiting for a lower, yeah. I don't like it. I mean, it's. Well, let's see what's going on here. Now that's triggered. Let's see what's going on here. I just don't like that. I mean, it may work, but there's just 2 dojis there. Well, one and possibly another. Okay, that's a good sign, but I still don't like it. I don't like this. It could turn up that. I hope if there's someone in there, it doesn't. I hope anybody else. I hope you guys aren't in there. I think it might be okay. But I'm just staying out of it. If anything, it's a little bit congested now. But this is just something I don't like about it. It is in a channel. It's a second entry short, but we're in a little channel here. So we could have a break at a new high. Now let's see if we trap some longs and come down. I'll be surprised if that holds. I mean, it is a second entry long. I get why. Yeah, it's a shame, really. I mean, that is very sly of the market to do that. It didn't used to do that as much, I've got to say. It's clearly 2 legs up. It's clearly a second entry short, but we're in a little channel here, so I wouldn't want to go short in an uptrend. It's a small trend channel, but that to me would be going short in a small trend channel, regardless that it's a second entry short. They often take news movement back. Yeah, they do, absolutely. You're on about a lot of this back, yeah. Sometimes they'll push up and recover really quickly. When it started doing this, I didn't think it was going to recover. I thought then we may continue to work up, you know. But yeah, often it does. But I just don't like what I'm seeing here. There will have been some traders got trapped there. So second entry long there, that was a bit sly. I get why people would have taken that one. Second entry short, it was in quite a nice place. But for me, that's a channel. And a little uptrend, so I wouldn't want to be going short in an uptrend. And the fact, another good reason is we've hit this bottom 3 times, so we could rebound a bit. Another reason that I didn't take that. So, you know, this is helping me no end. It's just, you know, something I didn't like about it anyway, but that there, the fact that we've bounced 3 times is just giving me an extra, little caution. To me, sort of checklist. So we got a leg, a break, and a leg. So there will have been some traders taking that, I dare say. Once we got above that, we had quite a strong push. So yeah, it's a funny old day, isn't it? It's a real stringy day, isn't it? It's thin and lanky and curvy and I mean, the play. I dare say, people will be looking at stuff like this, won't they? If you're looking at that, and I get why you'd have done that. I get why you'd have done that. I wasn't sure about what I was seeing, so I stayed out of even that higher low. Now, ordinarily, a higher low that I would have taken, but I just don't like what I'm seeing. That's one thing. It's just something about it I don't like the look of, and the fact that I wasn't confident that the channel was right there or how I had it before was another reason to stay out of that. So there will have been some traders. I get why they'd have taken that. I mean, look, in all fairness, if you look at that, we got 3 touches there, a couple of touches there, a touch there. It's perfect in a strange way. I don't like the look at it, but in a strange way, it's perfect. So look how it's reacted to that line. I thought, do you think traders would have jumped all over that? So I get why they didn't. And if they didn't take that, maybe the higher low. So that was a bit unfair. Well, you can't say unfair, but I'm calling it unfair. They say the market's not out to get you. I disagree. I think the market is out to pick off weak positions. So as far as I'm concerned, it's out to get me. So there'd have been a few losses there, I don't doubt, which is a shame. And that as well. Less experience at traders. I don't think many of you guys took that, did you? But the fact that it's in a channel, and that's just another thing I've learned. I've taken trades before and gone, why doesn't it work? And someone says, well, there's a little uptrend there. So it's a shame. Market can be a bit sly sometimes, but it does make you get better at spotting these areas and staying out of them. So there was a trap there, and I stayed out of both of them. You know, a year and a half ago, I'd have jumped in on both of those, and probably I'd have got in on that ILO as well. So it just goes to show context is everything. So there may be a bigger channel there. That kind of looks right. So why have we just all of a sudden turned there? Well, one probably midline. You can see it's reacting to the top there, and another thing that for me that sealed the deal was 3 touches there, so I expected a reasonable bounce. 50%. Oh, is that what it is? Of course it would be, yeah. I don't even need to put the fib. Don't even really need to put the fib tool up there. We can work that one, can't we? I had a hard time agreeing with one of the entries he marks. Yeah, I have a hard time agreeing with a lot of them, to be honest with you, Jay. I didn't have a channel break. Yeah. I think the trouble is when you mark trades on a chart that you can see what happened, you can't have that same raw reaction to it. You only really get that in real time, and you know, that was bullshit. What you on about? Which bit was bullshit? Which bit you on about? Just past the 50k mark on you, mate. Read your comment. I did. It just says that was bullshit. You put a comment in the what's it? I don't know what you're doing. I can't see that second entry short that failed. You on about that one? Are you above? Oh, yeah, it is. But it's also a little channel there. That's the thing about context. Yeah. Well, it is and it isn't. It is. See, there's a reason why it might have failed. One, because the midline. So look, there's some support across there. It wasn't a channel until it failed. Well, look. So one, you got a lot of support over there on that midline. One, we've retraced 50% of it from top to bottom. So there's a reason that it may bounce there. So look at that. There's clearly support and resistance over there. So that's another reason. There's always a possibility you could adjust this slightly and say we've had a small break. And for me, that is a channel. Let me have a look. That looks like a tight channel to me. So that's why I stayed out of that. I grant you it looks like two little legs, but the legs are a little bit less insignificant. So it's definitely a little channel, that. Whether you think that's a break or not, I don't know, but it's definitely a little channel. And I've taken trades like that before, and someone's pointed out we're in a little uptrend. Now, just because it's come down, then we've had a break, and there is a second entry short, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make a new low. Especially if we're ranging at the moment, we do seem to be ranging, and that to me looks like there's a possibility it's just found an area where people are happy to buy from, because there's clearly some support or resistance. Now, I mean, if you call that a channel there, you'd expect to have a break and a new high, but we couldn't get a new high, and I'm guessing because it looks to me like it's laying down some range tops, which is why I think then it's come down. And obviously after the news, so it's just one of those things. It is frustrating, I've got to say. But you get better at avoiding those. You get better at noticing them. I jump all over that a while back and get stung. Same with that one as well. Two clear legs down, reacted beautifully off that line. But I stayed out of it, and I stayed out the higher low because something about the look of it I don't like. But what I found is time and time again, when you get trapped, your eyes are glued to this little area here. You can clearly see what's going on there. You're not just having a glance at it, you're focusing on it. So that little picture is going to burn itself into your brain, and that will stay in your brain. It will. I've mentioned it before. Have you ever been to a place once 5 years ago and you drive past it again and something seems familiar? Why is that? Because these pictures stick in our head for one reason or another, and when you're focused that much on this, next time you see a picture like that, you'll go, something doesn't seem right. And I do it all the time. You'll hear me say it, I don't like the look of this all the time. And in a majority of cases, it would have gone against me. So you will get that sort of gut feeling. But it is frustrating because it does look like a textbook sort of second entry long. But there's just a few things that concern me there. One, that it's a little bit tight in a trend channel. And two, we've come off. You can clearly see support and resistance there and back here as well. And that's another reason why I have the NQ, because looking at the NQ is like asking for another opinion. And for me, we got three. So as soon as we saw that, I said straight away, I doubt very much I'm going to get into a short here. So I would say have this on another screen as well, just to give you a second opinion. We've come down here. There may be a small break here. So if there's a small break here, this is going to go up. If this does go up, the ES will follow it. So there was a few little red flags there for me, which is why I stayed out. But you do get better at noticing them. Don't beat yourself up about it. This is how you learn. Getting trapped makes you become a better trader. It absolutely 100% does. So I won't beat yourself up about it. But yeah, it is a bit frustrating. I don't know how many times I've emailed Mac and gone, why hasn't that worked? But it's just one of them things. Where are you from anyway? Blue Collar Tech. I don't think I've seen your name before. Where are you from, bud? No, you don't have to use fibs. No, not at all. I didn't base that on a fib. It was just somebody mentioned it to me. The reason I stayed out of that is because of this one. Are you Florida? I'm Matt. Okay, you got. Okay, you can't moan, mate, if you live in a nice warm place like Florida. But yeah, I get your frustration. But yeah, we've got some support and resistance there. Clearly, maybe caught in the overnight lows. You can see it there, and you can see it there as well. And we do seem to be going sideways. So I think that's a lot why that failed. And it is frustrating, but you will pick up stuff like this. Do you know what? I guarantee you Mac won't even mention that tomorrow. You know why? Because he doesn't even have to think about this. He just reacts to it because he's been doing it that long. Because sometimes I think, talk about that, Mac, and he doesn't. And the only reason I can suggest that is he doesn't even enter it because he's just picked up these few things. But with such a textbook setup, I see it. Yeah. It is a second entry short, but context is absolutely everything. You can teach someone what a second entry short is in a couple of minutes, and that is a classic second entry short. But context is everything. It's applying that to the correct context of the market, and the context says there's a possibility that we're going to bounce here. And after seeing all that, that's what kept me out of a trade. And my little backup, my backup friend on this screen here said we've bounced 3 times there and reacted strongly. So yeah, I tell you what I find though, it's rare that I can see a trade and not work out why it hasn't worked. It's rare I haven't got a clue. It happened, let me think. Hard to know, is it a break or not in real time? Yeah. You don't have a lot of time to think about it, and the more experience you get, you will get to notice. You know, I see other traders sometimes, other sort of the other odd streamer taking shorts into. If I did it myself, I took a short into I still miss it myself. I took a failure into support. Where was it? It was a couple of days ago. Where was it? Was it there? No. Was it here? I can't think now, but I took. I can't think where it was. I'm sure it was the day before yesterday, but I took a trade into support. So just be careful of that, because we've got the support here, so there's a possibility you're going to get more buy-in there to push back up. But we do look like we're sort of ranging now a bit. Struggle to retest the highs after. Yeah, and the trouble is there's so much different opinions. You know, what might be more successful to you isn't to me, and we all see things ever so slightly different. And we got different levels of risk as well. I see some people going for stuff that I think is way too risky, and vice versa. But it is just one of those things. Now, the saying is, when we break a channel, we make a new extreme. So there is a possibility we have got 2 legs. You just might not have seen it. So let's have a look. Yeah, so we got 1 leg up, 2 legs up. So now it could come down. In fact, there is a lower high there. I mean, that's very tempting to come down and retest this. The reason I'm not taking that is because it's congested, so it could stitch you up. It does seem like you're forever finding reasons not to take a trade, but that's just the way you have to do it. 2 legs up and a failure there, but at the moment I'm just not a massive fan because of this. Could trigger you and turn up. But yeah, there probably is 2 legs, 1 leg up, 2 legs up. So get rid of that. Leg and a leg looks clearer to me than leg and a leg. So that's probably just why, I think. So it's triggered that lower high. And what happened? It's pushing up. Another reason why you just can't trade in congestion, because you just never know when it's going to stitch you. And this market is very clever at picking off weak positions. So the stronger your position is, the stronger your trade is, the more chance it's got of just not failing. See, same again, we got a higher low here. That looks like it's going to push up to me. Possible second entry long. We got a channel, 2 legs down. It's looking a bit better on here, but I'm not trading in here because it's sideways. I know what I think it's going to do. But you just got to stay out of it when it's like that. Leg and a leg. It could come down here and break the lows, or it could be like a bull flag, push up sideways and up again. So we've got 2 legs. Let's have 1, 2 legs down. Nice bullish bar, which is triggered. So leg up, break. I think that's likely going to go up. Unfortunately, we got no real setup here. It is so hard to just stay out of trades and just wait for those really beautiful setups. But it's the only way it works. You really have to. Unless you don't mind taking losses, but still, if you're taking 70% trades, law of averages say you're going to win more than you lose. And you're going to make money, but you are going to have more losses, and it depends how you are with losses. I tend to try and just go for those high probability ones and keep my losses to a minimum, because I struggle with them. So yeah, 2 legs back, high or low. Yeah, it does. I'll tell you now, mate. I'll tell you something now. I started trading 3 years ago, a couple of months over 3 years ago. And I did currency for 6 months. And to be fair, I didn't know jack shit. I wasn't very good at it. It takes a lot longer to learn to trade currency, because there's so many different currency pairs, and it's way more complicated. And I saw these guys doing this, these 2 guys trading this, and I did it for a month. I was working in the day up till about 5 o'clock UK time, and I'd come home and I'd trade for about 3.5 hours, 4 hours till the market closed. And I did that for 4 weeks. And on the 4th week, we had a really nice uptrend, and I was just buying at the bottom, and it was working on a sim. And I worked out, I'd have made, I don't know, $1,500 in a week. So on Friday, I drove 20 miles to work, and I pulled up in a petrol station, got a coffee, and I thought, bollocks this. I'm jacking my job in. And I phoned my boss up, told him to shove his job up his arse, and drove home, said to my wife, I'm going to be a trader. I stuck £5,000 in, I lost it all in about a month. And it's then when you start to realise, oh my God, this is way harder. And I told my wife after the first year I'd be earning at least $10,000 a month. And I told her that after the second year. And I'm telling her that now. And I'm just starting to become a better trader now. And knowing when to stay out of it, so I'm winning more. I still struggle with the psychological side, but I'm getting better at it. So it does take time, and I would consider myself obsessive when I learn stuff. You're 2 years in and only starting to finally be consistent month after month. Yeah, you just improve and improve. But little things like that. See, the way I see it, if I'm trading with, say, 2 contracts, if you can make one good trade a day, that's $200 a day. That's $1,000 a week. That's $4,000 a month. Even if you make half of that, so you don't need to do a lot of trade. I see some charts, some people, they've got 5, 6, 7 trades. You don't need them. I probably average one trade a day, but if you sit and wait till you find an absolute sitter, chances are you're going to win them 90-95% of the time. But stuff like that, that's just, you get that feeling, I don't like this. It doesn't look like 2 clear legs. And when I see legs, I mean a leg up, a little bit of a pullback and a leg up. That doesn't really. So it's just filtering out the little shittier ones, and sooner or later your win rate will be a lot better. But I know it's frustrating. It is. You think you've cracked it, and all of a sudden you're losing trades and thinking, "What? I shouldn't be losing. I was doing well." It is hard and it is frustrating. But that's why you can earn big money. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But I don't know how many times I've heard Mac rant that this is a skill. It takes time to learn. It's not easy. I used to hear him say, if you want to be a doctor, I'm thinking, how can it be more complicated than a doctor? But not maybe more complicated. You don't need as much brain power, but from a time constraint, it takes a lot of time. I have got a free gift. Yeah, it's on the way. A T-shirt, a blue T-shirt with a bull and a bear on it. I went for the hoodie, but it because it's coming to the UK. I think they set a cap on postage. I think. Yeah, you got a mug, have you? I've got a couple of mugs. My wife's friends have bought me them over the last couple of years. The trader mugs, but I don't think I'd trust it to come from the US. It'd probably be in pieces by the time I got here, But yeah, it was nice of them. I'm assuming they just sent out a random bunch of emails. They did make you feel a bit special. I'm thinking perhaps I'm naive here, but they probably sent about 5,000 out or something. Doctor's practice, that's what we call it. Yeah, true enough. Yeah. I suppose the thing is with a doctor, you need to, I think, sort of a higher level intelligence or education. You don't need that to trade. You need very minimal education, really. I mean, we're just looking at patterns and noticing stuff. You don't, you know what I mean? Less than a basic education would do this. From a doctor's point of view, it's a little bit more technical than that. But from a time constraint, what is it, 7 years over here, I think, at university for a doctor? Yeah, I could see that as a trader. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it takes seven years to be a trader. I dare say there's some making money in a couple of years or 3 years or 4 years, but it depends how much time you put in. But, I think you'll just get better and better at it the longer you've been doing it. So you may say we've had a little break there. 2 pushes up to a new high. So, I'm wondering here whether we're going to have a leg and a leg. No. Maybe something like this. Let me have a look. So we're going to leg up, we're breaking a new high. What are we doing now? Are we thinking about a channel maybe? It's hard to say at the moment. It's a bit hit and miss that, whether that be right. Are we coming down to here? Are we pushing lower? Are we having a leg? A couple of pullbacks and a leg. There is a lower high there, but for me, it's just too far from the EMA, so I'm leaving that. It could trigger you and push up, touch the EMA before coming down, so I'll be leaving that. Yeah, exactly. It takes time. I mean, trading is more of a habit, isn't it? Getting into a habit. But it is a skill. Mac will talk about it's like learning a language. I'd say it absolutely is. We can all pick up a few words in a foreign language, but how long is it going to take you to speak fluently? Fair few years, I would suggest. So I would say it is like learning a language. So yeah, if you'd have taken that one, your arse would be twitching about now. It's just too far for the EMA. I don't even consider stuff like that anymore. Do I think it's going to come down? More than likely. Yeah, we got a leg down, 1, 2. So it's got to get back up here though, really, to make me think about short. So that actually doesn't look too bad. So let's see, it's triggered that. So it's still too far for the EMA if that's bearish for me. If I'm not sure now, I just stay out. I'm happy taking one trade a day. But yeah, it actually just clipped under $64,000 yesterday. Yeah, we're above it now. Let's have a look. 63,111. Unbelievable, isn't it? I'm hoping money starts to pull into the altcoins soon. The altcoins soon, sorry, because I've got some money in those. They're not doing a great, mind you, freaking hell, Solana's up 20% today. I mean, that thing's gone crazy. I could have bought that at $8 4 or 5 months ago. I had about 30 or 40 Solana around about $18, but I sold them. Idiot. I've got some Cardano. I've got a little bit of Doge. I got some Matic. I got some HBAR. I got some Gala. A couple of others, not very well known ones. Yeah, Solana's just flying. Doge is up 35%, so money, yeah. HBAR, my biggest hope. I bought HBAR at about, was it about 4 cents, I think? Was it about 4 cents, 5 cents, 5.5 cents, something like that. So that's more than doubled. Okay, so that's a no-no then, isn't it? So we got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Maybe this is going to fail now. So leg down. Excuse me, just a second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be back in a quick minute. Okay. So we got a leg down, one attempt to go higher. We came back, a second attempt to go higher. Now are we going to fail? Let's have a look. You could say 1, 2, 3 triple test. Maybe this will come down. Let's see. Maybe we look for a lower high. That's interesting. Or are we now pushing up? I'd have preferred that to break higher, really. Ever check the Apex payouts? How do they do it? Yeah, I know what you mean. It's crazy, isn't it? I like to think we'll all be on that list at some point. Let's hope so, eh? I've been on it 5 times, but pretty much close to the bottom. Probably say. Leg up, could be 2 legs back and another leg up. It's possible. I don't know. It's a bit unclear for me at the moment whether we're going up or down. It is a bit choppy. There is some support around there. So I'm not a fan of going short just at the moment. There's obviously a bit more room to come down here, but this to me, touch, it looks like it may be a bit sideways here, a bit rangy. So if it is, what I'll say is if we do manage to push below there, then I think there's a possibility getting below here. Can you do? It's just there's no setup there. Unfortunately, you couldn't short that really. We need a little retest, but the trouble is, I don't know. I can't see it happening. So are we coming below there and lower? It's feasible. Be nice to have a couple of retests of this and then a lower high and down we come some more, but I just don't like this. Yeah, that's the trouble. I mean, it's possible it could go up. We've pushed him. You could say we bounced once, twice, 3 times. It could rocket up. It could have a leg up. 2 legs back and a leg up. That's certainly possible. Good morning to you, my friend. How you doing? 10,000 tick chart has a nice second entry short. Let's have a look. Second entry short. Trouble is it's congested. And it's triggered and pushing up, so I'll be concerned about that. Yeah. Risky short in that right into there. Not that it might not work, but it is a second entry short, but it's just congested, isn't it? It could sting you here, couldn't it? I mean, at a quick glance, I'm thinking down, but what I will say, we've pushed out and we've bounced once. So, well, not perfectly on that line in all fairness. It could still come down. But we've had this channel. We've had a break. 1 attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go lower. I mean, it could rocket up. We just could have a leg, 2 legs back and a leg. Those legs are a little bit too big. Usually they don't retrace that much if it's just like a break. But you just don't know. At the moment, it's an odd looking day for a starters, isn't it? It's just odd. I really couldn't tell you what it's going to do at the moment. What I will say is on the NQ, that bar has triggered, so there's possibly a second entry short. We've got a leg down, second entry short, 1, 2 legs, so that's interesting. Unfortunately, at the moment, we haven't really got anything there. That's looking quite bearish, that is. There is a hidden second entry short there, but I just don't like that bar like that. No, I can't trade that in all good conscience, even if it finished bearish. I don't like it. It's right in the middle for a start. Extra, yeah. No, I mean, if that was really bearish, I mean, it does look like we're going to come down and make a new extreme from this, and then I'd expect to test that. There is a hidden second entry short there, but like you say, it is in the middle. You're better off waiting for a lower high, I think. But trouble is, do you want to go short down here? We're nearly below. If we get below there, leg, I can see us breaking these lows. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do at the moment. There is, you could say, a hidden second entry short, but I'd like a lower high really to confirm. Okay, we're below there, so next is down there for sure. Unfortunately, there's nothing that I would take there. I like that, but it's in the midline, and yeah, I'm just not a fan. If we can get below here, I'd say there's a good chance of having that second leg down. See if we get a lower high here. Don't go down too far yet. Okay, so I think there's a possibility of getting down to there, then probably a leg and a leg. But no, I had a feeling that was going to do that, but it's just one of those things. You may argue that's worth taking, but you just don't know, do you? Okay, we're down nearly to this measured leg. It's a shame. Now, we could go further. Have a look at this. Not much further. We could get right down the bottom. If if we can get below here and maybe retest this, and this is looking right, it's just way too far from the EMA to consider getting in short here. And if I'm not thinking short here, I'm not thinking it on here either. See if we trap some longs there, leg and a leg. Trouble is, if we get below here, we're getting very close to this bottom here. Okay, there is a lower high there. We're just too far away from the EMA on the NQ. Don't fiddle with the middle. Oh, incidentally, I haven't changed my that. If you see top left apex 8% off and one day to pass, it now finishes on, I think it's Monday, not Sunday. My mistake. 4 days and 5 hours. Where are we now? So we're Thursday, aren't we? So Friday. Days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, Monday. Finishes midnight Monday. I put it down as Sunday for some reason, the 3rd. It's Monday the 4th, actually. Okay, so we bounced off here. Bounced again. Yeah, it's getting a bit pain in the arse picture at the moment. This is hard to read today. Leg. There's nothing I can say where I'd have traded here. Nothing at all. I mean, that high-low went for a point, I think, or a point and a tick, so it's just not worth it for me. It is 2 legs down, but that wouldn't have worked. They got a little bit off that, but it's still not a good trade in my opinion, because I just don't know what's going on. There was a lower high that tested this. It's too risky for me. Nothing there. Nothing there. There's nothing really. You may have took that lower high off there, but it's just congested. It did work, but it's just sideways. You can't do it. Would you take in that one? It's like a hidden second entry short, but I'm not bowled over by the way it looks. So nothing for me. Nothing I've taken off the bottom. I don't tend to pick bottoms and tops. I'm just not very good at them. So I tend to avoid them, but in all honesty, there's nothing, there's nothing I could say here, in all fairness, that's worth taking. I dare say Mac will find about a dozen, though. Okay. It's in the middle of this range at the moment, so I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, stretch my legs, make myself a quick cup of coffee. This is Bartfly territory. Yeah, he picks tops and bottoms, and he's pretty good at them, to be fair. He's a lot better than I am at picking tops and bottoms, but he's quite happy to take the trade, and if it wins or loses, he just carries on. He doesn't seem to revenge trade, so I think you can continue to trade if losing doesn't affect you, because he seems to carry on trading as normal. I like Bart, actually. I speak to him on odd occasion. We have a little chit-chat through the messages. But yeah, he's definitely comes over as a more advanced trader than me, for sure, when it comes to picking tops. He's got a lot more strings to his bow, shall we say. So we got this channel down. Are we going to continue down? I got no idea. So I don't want to miss a trade, but I'm getting a bit thirsty, and I think it's good to take a break, stretch your legs. So I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, we got a failed second entry short going up. There is a higher low there. Looks like a bit of a bull flag, but it's too close to these highs for me. It has triggered that Mr. Doji, so. So leg up, one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, nice bullish bar. I think there's a chance that that is going to push up. It might not. What about buy orders, are you? Buy orders. 95 to 98. Are they buy orders or sell orders? Let's see where this comes from. Around that area. Would you say 95 to 98? This is looking quite bullish now. I expect this. We've had a leg. I expect a leg. Unfortunately, we got nothing here really, but I'd expect that to get to these highs. But there's no setup, unfortunately. There is a failure there, but it's just, I don't like any of this. It's congested, so it could stitch you up. But I would suggest that's more likely going to hit that area. Oh, price may go. Oh, down. Okay, so I got you. So people taking profits there from the bottom or whatever. I don't know. Sell orders, yeah. Sell orders, yeah. Either people just selling or profits from longs. I don't like this when it's doing this. It's a funny old day today. It's choppy. It's a bit slow. It's a bit hard to read. It's bouncing in funny places. So we've pushed up. We have one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, and a nice big bullish bar that's triggered. So I expect it to go up. Whether it will or not is a different thing. That would take us up to the tops. We've had a breakout of this, so I'll be surprised if we get above the tops, back to the top of the range. Yeah, I'd say so. You'd be thinking about going short. Yeah, I'm just not so sure at the moment. It's hard to say, really. So we got this channel down. We could make a couple of attempts to go higher and then come down, but I would have expected there'd be quite a few people buying that. Leg and a leg, buying here with the thought that we're going to these tops. So let me have a look at this. So we got a leg and a leg, we got a leg and a leg, leg and a leg, leg. Maybe trigger that short bar and push out. I don't know. It's part of the reason why I'm not trading it is because it's not clear. It's a little bit harder to read, and when it's like this, it just sometimes it can just go in any damn direction, really. So there's nothing you can really do in this lot. I mean, what I will say is there's definitely something along there. Depends where you put that. And it's pushed off there, so it's trying again. But whether it will or not remains to be seen. There is a higher low here. Trouble is, we're going long right into there. You can't do it really. I mean, it could quite easily go up, and it probably will. It's just too risky because it could just trigger you, come down and stop you out, and then go. Just can't really go long into all that. My thoughts are, I'd say this sort of area is likely, but I wouldn't bet on it. See how this finishes. Got a lower high here. You're probably short up here somewhere. Trouble is, I don't know what's going on here. That's the trouble with this, the NQ. It can move really quickly. So 1 minute you could look ready to go here and it looks bullish, and all of a sudden within a second and a half it can just look completely different. It moves a lot quicker, this does. Yeah, so if I'm taking a short or something or a long, I like it to break below a bar that I'm pretty sure Alpine's accounts are gone. Are they really? Oh my God. What I will say is he has paid himself a ton of money. He had something like 40, 50,000 the last couple of 3 months. Wow, that's surprising. That's all right. I'm just flicking on to have a look on my Mac. Is there a lower high here coming here? There's a lower high there. That's very tempting.
Order submitted.
Let's see the size of it. It's a big ass bar.
Order canceled.
It's probably going to come down, I think. But I just don't like that stem right around the midline. I think it'll probably work. Oh Christ, yeah. How the hell's that happened? Oh dear. I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Has he copy traded him? He must have done. It's not all of his accounts, I don't think. He's got some on the bottom right hand side in the green, so I don't think he's lost them. It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Order submitted.
I like this. The lower high.
Order filled.
Yeah, beauty. Okay. I like that in the end. We've bounced in multiple times off there. This is starting to look bearish. So you got 5 points on it. Good on you, mate. Good on you. I just didn't like the wick, but then when it's closed again below there, it is a lower high. We've tried multiple times to get over it. It's quite likely going to come right down, but sometimes I do think about staying in a bit longer. But what I will say is when I'm a bit better at accepting losses and I've got a bit more money in my accounts, if you think it's likely to come down, then it may be worth holding on a bit longer because, you know, if you think there's a 75% chance of it coming down, it still might be worth holding on. You know what I mean? So that's 2.25 points. I could have had a bit more, but I just tend to like 2 points. But I like to get out right where those bodies are. I don't like to stretch it down to the bottom. But there you go. So let's call that low high. So low high plus 2.25 points. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I wonder what's caused that with you got 5 points. Good on you, mate. Nicely done. Could not get filled. Oh, could you not? Yeah, it's one of those things, really. Once it got below there, it dropped. I mean, once we got so far down and it closed there below the EMA, I just wanted to find something a little bit. And when that started to drop, once it starts to go, it goes, doesn't it? But it's getting that momentum. But I thought that was okay. I mean, we've come off. I mean, we're respecting that top line perfectly. And we've hit it a couple of times and we pulled down and we've tried again and we've dropped. So I tend to not pick tops, but I will, you know, take lower highs off them because obviously there's much more of a chance to come down then. So, I mean, it's certainly looking like it's likely to come down. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you never know. We've got a leg and a sideways. We may get another leg down here, but it does seem to be like a bit of a range day. But I thought once that goes, usually then you expect it to get down to the bottom. Couldn't get filled. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's a lot of times where I just click the sell button. If I'm strong enough on a trade, I'll click the buy or sell. And I would say most times I do that. Maybe 9 or 10 times out of 10, I never have an issue with it. It gets in at a reasonable. On the rare occasion, it gets in a, you know, it moves a bit. But if it moves quickly, chances are it'll get you 2 points anyway, I think. How the hell's he lost so much? How the hell's he managed? Oh, he doesn't use stops, does he? He doesn't trade with stops. I'm surprised he's let it go so far. I mean, there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 trades just that I can see that are 2,000 above. So he's lost over 20 odd thousand. Did someone say 20 odd thousand? Wow. And now, I would say that's a significant loss because he does get paid regularly. So that is money he would have withdrawn. And sometimes when you think things can't get any better, you have an awakening. So he said he's at 88,000 in payouts in 2024. So if he's lost 20 odd, he's still $50,000 up for the year, which is not bad. But I think ultimately it's how you deal with those losses. I mean, that's significant in one go. Be interesting to watch that back later. Because he does seem to have cracked it lately. I think this is probably for him, realistically, just a hiccup. But, you know, I often look at someone's face when they something like that happens, and he does look a little bit miffed about it, and rightly so, but I don't think it'll cause him any great difficulties. He's certainly earning money out of it anyway, so he'll overcome that, I think. But yeah, I mean, he seemed untouchable, didn't he? Every time I look at his chart, he's $200-300 up in the green, nearly every time. So it just goes to show sometimes you think someone's untouchable, and then you find out, they've had a bit of a hiccup. But fair dues to him for what he's done. He's done well. I have seen Trader Tom say one of the most important is to accept the losses and just close the trade early. Yeah. See, I have my stops in a place. Occasionally, you'll see me move a tick, but generally, I don't do a lot else than that. But I'm pretty sure he trades without a stop loss. Now, I would say that he's lost so many counts. To me, he's trade copied. Now, I thought he only ever did a couple of trade accounts at a time. So whether he's just, I know the other day I was listening to him and he was talking about, shall I trade copy? So he seems to find enough trades to be able to cover them all, trading 2 or 3 at a time. But judging by that and many, I can't see him blowing 2, then blow another 2, then blow another 2, 5, 6 times over, unless you're revenge trading. And he does seem to me like he's past that. So he's probably copy traded, yeah. So he's $24,000 down, which is significant. Having said that, he has been paid $80,000. So when you think about it on the grand scheme of things, he's still well up. So best of luck to him. I don't like to see anybody losing money, but I think the amount of money he earns, he could stand that. I think he could stand that. Sometimes these things, when we're doing okay, they come along and just remind you that you may be doing okay, but you're not in, you know what I mean? You can still, what I found, I remember when I first got my first account, I got it up to $7,500. I remember saying to my wife, it's not a case of if I can do it, I am doing it. And all of a sudden I got very confident. And I remember getting into a trade, clearly, I picked a top and it lost. And it stopped me out and went higher and gave me another bearish bar, and I picked it again out of frustration and lost again. And I had 18 green days in a row. I got up to $7,500 and I lost $2,600 in one day and about $2,200 in the next day. And I was absolutely flabbergasted. I thought I'd nailed it. There's no way this could happen. I thought I've made that money. I'm good enough now. And it just goes to show you, the best trader in the world, if they're not sticking to their rules and taking top-notch setups, are going to get broken to pieces. Just because you earn a ton of money doesn't mean the market's going to give you any easier trades. Alpine said his 2 months of greatness is over. No, I don't think so. Absolutely not. You're going to have days like that. If he's making a lot of money, if he's making $40,000 in 1 month, take away this, he's still 16,000 up. So what he needs to be careful to do now is not let this affect him too much, because it can get inside your head and start to eat you up. But I think he'd be okay. He's clearly got the skills to trade. He wouldn't earn what he's earned for this amount of time out of luck. It's just one of those things. Sometimes markets just don't go where you think they are. And the trouble is, if he doesn't use a stop, I think he'll still close a trade. But where do you draw the line? Where do you close it before the trouble is, when it goes against you so much, that urge to just leave it a bit. Let's see if we recover. And it's the worst decision to make, but the hardest to control. And it's just unfortunate. But look, I mean, in January, he's withdrawn $35,000. In February, he's withdrawn $52,000. So if you take $24,000 off that, he's still had 2 fantastic months. Well, look at that. So that measured leg has played out. I kind of wish I'd have held on there, but you never quite know it's going to do another 15 points, do you? It's like aviation, the most dangerous pilot are the ones with 1,000 hours. Yeah, getting too confident. The thing is, if you're doing well, you do feel confident. So it's useful to have that little reminder. And I had that reminder. I lost 20 I just had the one account. I lost $2,600 in one day. I think it was a couple of days into New Year. But I lost about $4,000 in 2 days, and this was just on one account, and I felt crippled. my hair stood on end. I got goosebumps. I felt weird, and it crippled me, and I just never recovered. The damage was done. The only way to recover from that was to take a week off and get it out of my system. But if you trade with frustration, you're doomed. Just one account, am I wrong? How about the concept of trading? In all fairness, I know I keep going for multiple accounts, but I personally think the best way is to do one account at a time. Do one evaluation at a time until you get and one P at a time. When you get a payment from your first PA, then add another one or two and build up slowly, because I'm like a lot of other people. I've blown 4 or 5 counts on a number of occasions. I know Wilson's blown 20 on 2 occasions. If you're still not quite there and you're blowing accounts, it doesn't make sense to get massive amounts of accounts. I get taking 2 or 3, but anything more, I think, is a risky game. And not only that, while you're still struggling, it does add a lot of pressure. And you can easily struggle from it. I feel a difference in pressure trading 1 PA than trading, 5 at the moment, but it can be scary. Taking the news back, yeah, it often does this. Sometimes it does it a lot quicker, but I wonder if that's where he got caught going long or something. It'd be interesting to have a look back there. I hope he leaves his stream on. I think he probably will. Oh yeah, no, it's not like that. Yeah, I think he's lost 10 accounts, I think. 10 accounts. Yeah. I'll have a look at that later, see how he's done that. Just made $500 feel good. Love your box breaks. Box breaks. What do you mean, bud? Box breaks? Are you on about this? That? Keep calm, taking 5 minute box breaks. Is that what you mean? Or am I thinking of something completely different? Are you on about breaking out of a box or something? You draw channels. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. What time is it? Yeah. See, that's an overshoot. So what I will say is looks to be some support and resistance along there somewhere. Touch. What are we going to do here? Now, an overshoot, as we know, can result in a reversal, or sometimes maybe just a correction. But I'm not getting involved in here at the moment. I've taken my one trade. I'm happy with that one trade. If I get another sitter, I'll take it, but I'm more than happy to go away with one trade. One trade a day for me. You can make all the money I want. Great stream as always. See it. Yeah, you too, buddy. Take it easy. Take it easy. So is this just a correction, or are we now pushing back up? I mean, there's always a possibility it could be something like that. It could be a two-tiered channel. I mean, that would work. Sometimes I see Mac drawing it like that, and others I say draw it like that with an overshoot. So what do you do? How do you really know? What I will say is it's working in that one tier. But ordinarily, would you take a short like that? I don't mind taking them, but because we've had a double bottom here, and we've already surpassed that measured move, and you can clearly see there's some support along there, so it could bounce and push up, or it may make an attempt to come down and turn. But I like, it's quite nice. But after we've had an overshoot, or what looks like an overshoot, I never get into a short straight away, because we could reverse, and it could tick you. It may come down. Sometimes they still do, but for me, it's risky. It's definitely a second entry short. It's in a nice position, but because we've had the double bottom and that support there, this is something I'm just staying out of. Yeah, look at that. It's triggered you and started pushing up, so your arse will be twitching a good one right back now. I mean, it may tick above it and then come down, but I'd say that's stop personally. Let's see, it might do. Yeah, we're already above it here, so that second entry short, hidden second entry short's already been stopped out on the NQ. So is it going to hold? I wouldn't want to be in that trade now. That's pushing up for me, that is. Yeah, so it's another sort of different scenario that we looked at earlier, that type of thing. That's more 2 legs back, but one, there's the overshoot, so we could get a correction 1 leg, 2 leg. We could get a complete reversal. I was going to say going the other direction then, but same again, very similar to that. This support along here, we had 3 strong support areas, and that's where it bounced. And same here, some strong support areas, and that's where it's bounced. Whether it will come down or not, who knows? This one eventually did. But same again, we're in another channel really, so, and it fits nice, so same again, very similar scenario. But that's why if I think there's an overshoot, I'll usually tend to assume there is and just stay out of any short trade, just in case I get stuffed. You may have even had to go long there, but I just don't like the way that's closed. That lower high right into the midline. Well, part of the reason, yeah, I don't mind taking that into midline because we've come down and we've had 1, 2, 3 attempts to go higher. And sorry about that. This to me was looking bearish, a leg down. So, and as soon as I got into it, it came down. We've touched a couple of times here. We're clearly ranging at the moment. We're at the tops of the range. So when that broke below, I didn't get in straight away. I got in there, and as soon as I got in, it came right down to the bottom. Yeah, I haven't really got a problem getting in the midline, really. I mean, if you look at that one, we had a pullback there, break. That was at the midline, came back down. That doesn't concern me too much unless we've got multiple touches of it. When if you look here, we push straight through the EMA, we push straight up through the EMA, so we're moving above it and below it, so it doesn't concern me too much. But it is a lower high, so I'd expect that to come down, and it was looking okay there. But after an overshoot, I never get into a short trade straight away. I wonder. It's not the easiest of days today. After that overshoot, see, you may take that. I just don't like the way they all close together like that. Because sometimes we'll just get a correction leg and a leg, and then it'll still come down. And there's always a possibility. See, I see Mac marking these. I see him do that, and then say there's a tier. Other times I see him go, you know, that, and then there's an overshoot. So the way that came down really quickly would suggest to me there was an overshoot, and it looked the same here as well. It just it dropped pretty quick. So I think I'm done today. Actually, I've got my one. I'm happy with that. So what's that? 2, 4, 6, 7, $760, something like that. That's all right. That not bad at all. That I'm happy with one. If I can get one, and that's it, I'm more than happy. So Friday tomorrow, last day of the month. Today we're into March. Tomorrow, unbelievable. And then we'll be rolling over before you know it. Warm weather's starting to come, brighter night, so we're all aiming in the right direction. Happy days. I'm having a nice holiday this year. The first one since I started trading. I've focused that much on trading and put every penny I can into it, well, within reason. But we're going to have a nice holiday this year, somewhere nice and warm. So I appreciate the comments. We've got a few new faces in today. It's always nice to get some new people, some fresh blood. Bit of a finicky day today. There was a few traps around, a bit sly, I got to say, at the market. That one there, maybe some there as well. Maybe that one or the higher low. It's just awkward today. But they do, you do learn on days like this. But it's a funny old day, isn't it? It's definitely leg. But there you go. So I appreciate your comments. I hope you've had some trades today. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a killer setup, but failing that, I'll be back here same time tomorrow, just before the market opens. So have a great evening, stay safe, and I will we'll talk and do it all again tomorrow. Bye for now.